So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Well, that was bad. Bournemouth 2, Aston Villa 0. The positivity, the hope, the will to book a plane ticket to Zurich or to wherever, Larnaca, Rabat, even places like that, maybe for next July or next August, next September. Potential, like, you just can't see it. You can't see any European football next season from what we saw out there today. I'm going to try and be as measured as I can with this, and I think I will be measured because I've done a lot of screaming into the ether on Twitter today. For those of you who have been following me on Twitter, this isn't going to be a long one, and it's going to be very much monological, if that is a phrase. Look, guys, I love your comments. I'm going to be very selective in the comments that pop up here because just like it. Actually, I won't. I'll just throw them up as normal. Reason being is because I've got a funny feeling there could be some pretty visceral things to do with certain players in the team, and that's okay too. And that's what we're here for. We're here as an outlet. Gerrard got it completely wrong today. Gerrard got this. This is my view. First of all, Gerrard got the selection of Ezri Konsa 100% wrong today. He was everywhere and nowhere. He was just positioning was just woeful, and all they did was they just plonked Solanke on him and dragged him around the field. And you need to be better than that. You need to be winning the ball on the ground, and he didn't do it. Ezri Konsa had one attempted tackle today. He had 2 interceptions, yes, but he had 1 attempted tackle today. Lost his man for the nod down for the goal at the start. In my view, he lost his man, and I think in most people's view, he lost his man for the nod down at the start. And you can see 3 minutes in, and you get what you deserve when you defend a corner like that. Everybody looking around, marking space, just undefeated in preseason though. Undefeated in preseason, 3 minutes into a game, and you go in, you do that. Yeah, grounds for divorce, I think. If you did something like that in your Sunday league, it would be grounds for divorce. Just really stupid stuff, like lack of leadership, lack of creativity, lack of impetus, lack of game plan, player panic after going down 3 minutes. They just literally tore it up, threw the game plan out the window, and just went wide to Dini and Cash and crossed the ball in. I'm going to say it again, and anybody who's looked at me and anything I've put in on Twitter, 31 crosses. 31 crosses we had in that game. Out of 569 passes, we had 31 crosses. Now I know that doesn't seem an awful lot, and how many? Like the thing is though, we connected with 3 of them, and one of them was Philippe Coutinho ducking under it and it hitting him. Like Danny Ings won an aerial duel. He won one aerial duel, and Boubacar Kamara won an aerial duel on the edge of the area. When actually, and you know what, I'm being very, very generous giving him that because I think it may have come off a player before it reached him. So it wasn't even directly from the cross. So, there's a lot to unpack here, guys. A lot to unpack on this. The toothlessness in attack. Leon, like a lot of people are talking about Coutinho. Coutinho started off wide left. Okay, go back. Sorry, I'm not being very, very I'm not being very good at my segues in this, and my thoughts aren't really joined up. But Gerrard started Konsa. We've been through that. I think he was woeful today. I think he was really bad. Carlos then, as the game went on, didn't help him out. I thought he looked really shaky and panicky as the game went on. We saw he ran the ball out of play a couple of times, had a couple of silly fouls. Okay, we'll move on from that. We'll move up the field a small bit. It started with Leon Bailey wide right, and with Philippe Coutinho wide left. Coutinho was anonymous in the first half. Now, I put up a tweet on Twitter, obviously, saying that Coutinho hasn't done anything, and we're crossing the ball, and it isn't necessarily his fault. And he was hugging the touchline because that was his job. And I'll be really honest, if there's people out there who think that we need to play we need to play wingers with Luca Dean and the team, I cannot see it happening because he's just such a ball hog on that left hand side that he has to be the one to get it and the one to cross it. I'm not saying that that's him hogging the ball as in not being a team player, but it's like everything has to go through him on the left hand side, and it's mind blowing. I can't understand it because he's so far up the field. You see the second goal that we lost today. That ball goes out to the left hand side. All they had to do was cross that ball out to the left hand side. You know, yes, they get something from it. They get a corner. I can't remember what it was. It was a corner, a set piece. Then they cross it in, and Kiefer Moore's scores from it. It's just the things that we do are not joined up. Today we were 3 different lines across the field, not playing together. John McGinn didn't do much today. I think midfield were bad. Jacob Ramsey and John McGinn didn't do a whole pile today. Kamara was okay. I would like he did his metronome job. I'd give him a pass of a 5 out of 10. But McGinn had the least amount of passes of anybody. McGinn had one of the most amount of passes of anyone outside of Kamara in that midfield, but they just weren't going anywhere. I just thought he was a bit in and out of the game for me today. Danny Ings was ornamental for a good portion of the game. Watkins came on. Like when we're looking at things here, you know, it didn't get much better when Watkins came on. Feels like such a sucker punch. Such a sucker punch this game does today. Such a sucker punch. And I could go down through everybody and mention that there was something off about every single player there today. But it doesn't make anything any better. And I think it all goes back to the fact that if you're playing Danny Ings up front and you're crossing that ball in and you've got a manager on the touchline, you've got a game plan that's been beaten into these players and they just throw it out the window after 3 minutes and start crossing the ball aimlessly into the box, well then I don't know whether I've matured a small bit or whether I've grown up with Villa probably for too long, but I'm sitting here and I'm trying and I'm finding it even difficult to get really angry about it at the moment. And the reason being is because we've seen this movie before. We've seen the players. I have to think the players abandoned the game plan today. I have to think it. I cannot think that there's somebody standing on the sideline saying, keep crossing it in, when you've got guys there that are hulks at the back. And we went 1-0 down after 3 minutes. Oh yeah, just keep crossing it in. It cannot have been the shout from the sideline. And if it was, there needs to be questions asked. And there needs to be questions asked anyway. There's been a lot of investment in time, money, and everything from fans this season. If they go to Villa Park next week against Everton and play like that, the North they won't need to pay to demolish the North Stand. The fans will do it for them for free. And then maybe they can put the money back into reducing season ticket prices. That's a dig, and that'll tell you that's about how that'll show you how kind of pissed off and frustrated I am there, because I try not to have a dig at the club or anything like that, and I will say that was a dig. And look, I'll take it back if anyone's offended by it, but fuck it, it was annoying. That game was annoying today, really annoying. I've got to come to some of your comments because I really can't get a lot of my thoughts together about specifically somebody like the Coutinho and the Bailey thing there. That like Bailey, superb all off season. We were getting the ball team, he was cutting in. Bailey could have put up a deck chair outside there, and so could have Coutinho, because it was like as if they weren't allowed to cross the ball and the ball had to go to our wing backs. This wing backs fetish of our team has to stop. They have to defend a bit more, and we have to trust our attackers to attack. Our attackers look crap because we're giving the ball, we're feeding the ball to our wing backs so much, or our full backs so much. It has to stop because this crossing is stupid. That's the only word I'll use for it. It's stupid, this crossing. It looks stupid. The means is the end of the means is stupid. We're not getting anything from it, yet we crossed the ball 31 times today. It was worse than Watford last season. That was worse than Watford. Yeah, Sniffrat says, "Oh dear." That's a comment I'm going to put up. Jazz 007 says, "Utter shambles today." I concur with this. Philly D says, "Massively disappointing. Not laid a glove on one of the worst squads to ever be in the Premier League." Philly D, I agree with you, 100%. Pete Tandy says something that I've been screaming for ages, and Cameron Archer is not the answer, lads. He's not. He is the answer in a year or two's time. He's not the answer based on today's performance, because he's not someone who's going to be able to nod in a goal from the 18-yard penalty area. Yes, he did against Chelsea on a counter attack in the League Cup. We need a striker. We need a proper number 9. The two lads we have aren't number 9s. We do not have a number 9 in our team. Well, we probably do. Keenan Davis, you could probably call him a number 9, but I can't imagine he's going to make the field for Aston Villa in the Premier League this year. Striker is paramount. Paramount. Really is. Lack of creativity, says Sam. I agree with you as well. When did any of the crosses in the box work? So repetitive. Absolutely. I agree. We've been saying it, and I think the questions will still be asked. If Gerrard is looking for a number 8, and we've heard people say recently, oh, if there isn't one out there that's better than the guys that we have, based on today's performance, it shouldn't be difficult to find somebody who's better than the guys that we have as a number 8. And once again, this is probably as negative as you'll hear me talk. I've matured since the days. If any of you want to go back and watch when we lost to Southampton 4-3, I've matured since the days there. I went full Arsenal fan TV that day. If any of you guys want to dig it out somewhere, if it's still available. But we need creativity. There has to be better. Like, there has to be somebody that we can come in and we can work with in that number 8 position. Like, I cannot sit here and think that there's nobody in Europe that can come in as a number 8, and this whole somebody that isn't as good, or that we will only bring in somebody who's better than our number 8. Based on today's performance, and you're only as good as your last performance. And I will caveat that. I like John McGinn. I like Boubacar Kamara. Obviously, he's a 6. I like Jacob Ramsey. I like Douglas Luiz. But we need help in there. Emi Buendia coming on as a number 8 is not the answer either, lads. It's just not. I'm going to go down to the bottom, guys, and I apologize. A lot of guys are saying here, Gerrard's tactics. I'm going to say yes, but I'm also going to say, if you've got players out there that don't deviate from crossing the ball 31 times in a game, and think, we have to think a small bit better than this, and they continue to do it, there's more than tactics to be questioned there. You break ranks, guys. I don't care who you are. You break ranks if your 31 crosses are not hitting the mark. You break ranks and you do your own thing on the field. And that's fine, and the manager can give out you afterwards, but you have ample opportunity to turn around in the debriefs afterwards and say, well, this is why we changed it. And what happens? After this game, there will be questions saying, if it was a case of, okay, we want to cross the ball more today, we're going to get at them from crosses. If that was the tactic that they were sent out with today, I'm sure every single player will be standing up and pointing fingers and going, and if there's anything in the press conference about our players weren't good enough today, which they weren't, which is absolutely fine. But if that does come out and the tactic was that cross the ball in was the tactic, I'm sure there'll be a lot of fingers being pointed back at the manager saying, you told us cross the ball and we were powder puff from it. I don't know. But you do, like, you can't continue to cross the ball in when you're looking at these hulks surrounding Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings, and then you've got Philippe Coutinho and Buendia behind them, and you're crossing the ball thinking that one of them is going to get their head in it. Come on, we're not living in this. We're not living in FIFA or something like that, where something will happen and a guy will get on the end of it. It's real life, and Lloyd Kelly and Mepham look like John Terry and Terry Butcher today. I don't know. Very deflated, lads. Very deflated. This is it. We are a soft touch. We have been a soft touch for 25 years. And we were a soft touch again today. Now, when we say we were a soft touch for 25 years, multiple managers, multiple regimes, multiple sets of players. But this happens, Aston Villa. This happens to Aston Villa with different sets of players, different managers, and whatever it is. I just cannot put my hand on it. Yeah, and look, guys, I'm 100% something like this. You know, are the tactics stifling our creativity? How can you not possibly create chances with Coutinho and Buendia putting the strings? Absolutely. How could you not play through the middle today? How could you not drag players out of position today? Granted, they played 7 at the back for the majority of the second half. They played 6 at the back after 3 minutes in the first half. It's initially, like, we can give out about all the attacking play all we want today, lads. But Konsa doesn't lose his man. And we don't get that nod down for Jefferson Lerma to bang it into the back of the net. And then they have to come out against us. Or they can't put 6 or 7 or 8 behind the ball. So yes, we can give out about creativity, and yes, we can give out about attacking intent, and 100% we will. We absolutely will. But the reason that Bournemouth were able to sit in their arses for the majority of the game and defend like they did, brilliantly, might add, but then again, we were useless in attack, is because they got that fortuitous goal after 3 minutes. There's a professionalism piece there that needs to be taken into account. We said it. We were saying it in Team Sheet Tantrum. Do not concede in the first 10 minutes. Be professional. Own the ball. Be professional. Yeah, we owned the ball for the bloody game afterwards, but we weren't professional for the first 3 minutes. The first corner of the game. Was it the first? It could be open to correction on that. Cloudy says, what's Paddy saying? I dread to think. The poor man has a drive from Limerick to Tyrone ahead of him now. About 5.5 hours. I would not like to be in the car with him, is all I would say. Yeah, look, I think I'm going to finish up on that, guys. I thought I had my thoughts a bit more together than I did. But lots of questions to be asked. I hope they are asked. I hope we don't get the same, and I hope that there's honesty in interviews after this. I'm not usually one for post-match interviews or anything. I couldn't really care less what's said in them, to be honest with you, because they're all scripted. But it's difficult. It's difficult to take that on the chin today after the great preseason. And let's not get it wrong. We had, things didn't go right in preseason, but we adapted, and Jared wanted that adaptability. We adapted to nothing today. That's the most disappointing part for me. I'm going to finish on this. 66% possession, 15 shots, no goals. Yeah. Right, lads, going to finish it up on that. I'm starving, I haven't eaten today either, and that's what's probably making me more hangry than anything else. But listen, thanks very much. We've had, nearly 400 people on there at one stage. Give it a thumbs up, even though we had a crap result. That would be nice. That would help me. Thank you so much for helping me vent and helping me get this out. I hope I helped some of you guys. I hope not too many of you didn't disagree with what I had to say there, because we will be back again with Paddy later on to do more of a dissection of this. We'll get more and more into the comments as well. But thanks so much, everybody, for this cathartic session. And go in and enjoy the rest of your afternoon if it is possible. Next week's another week, but there's a big week ahead for some of those players out there, and the tactics better be sorted out pretty sharpish, because I don't think Everton next week, if the first 45 minutes go anything like the last 90 did, I don't think it would be accepted at all. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great weekend, and all that's left to say is up to Villa.